Moving to another country is a leap into the unknown, a decision that changes everything. For me, that leap meant Norway. After years of feeling restless in a high-stress city, I craved a life with more balance and meaning. Norway's promise of happiness, connection to nature, and a slower pace called to me. This isn't just a travel story, it's about risking comfort for growth, facing loneliness, and building resilience. If you've ever wondered what it's like to start over somewhere completely new, you're in the right place. Let's dive into the real story of trading the familiar for the extraordinary. Norway's beauty is legendary, but my move was about more than stunning fjords and snowy peaks. I wanted a society that valued well-being, not just appearances. The reality? It's a mix of breathtaking nature and real-life challenges. Visa headaches, housing hunts, and adapting to wild seasons. Learning Norwegian, understanding unspoken social rules, and finding belonging took time. There were tough days, frustration, doubt, and isolation. But the rewards have been life-changing. Norway's peace, nature, and quality of life are worth every struggle. Here's the unfiltered truth behind the postcard. This series isn't a highlight reel, it's an honest guide for anyone dreaming of a new life abroad. I'll break down my journey, why I chose Norway, how I prepared, and what it really took to settle in. From paperwork and language lessons to the shock of arrival and building a new social circle, I'll share what I wish I'd known. We'll talk about the highs, nature, work-life balance, and the lows, like winter darkness and the cost of living. My goal? To give you the real story, with practical advice and honest reflection. If you're ready for the truth about starting over, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Why Norway? I was tired of chasing a version of success that left me burned out and unfulfilled. Norway offered a radical alternative, a culture where work-life balance isn't just a slogan, but a way of life. Here, leaving work on time and prioritizing well-being is the norm. The idea of embracing the outdoors spoke to me deeply. I wanted a career and a life, not just a job title. Norway promised a chance to redefine success on my own terms. That's the life I set out to build. Nature was my other reason for moving. Norway's wild beauty is part of daily life, not just a vacation. Here, cities are surrounded by wilderness, and adventure is always close. Hiking, kayaking, skiing, these aren't rare treats, but regular routines. Norwegians embrace every season, living by the motto, "There's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing." I remember standing in Fjord, overwhelmed by awe and belonging. That moment confirmed it. This was the landscape my soul needed. Norway's nature isn't just scenery, it's home. Norway's commitment to sustainability, innovation, and social progress drew me in. Here, green tech thrives, collaboration matters, and daily life reflects values I admire. Living in Norway means being part of a community building a better, more sustainable future. For everyone. Moving to Norway was my quest for a blank canvas, a chance to reset, challenge myself, and discover who I could become. It was daunting, but the promise of personal growth and a quieter, more intentional life drew me in. Here, surrounded by nature and possibility, I felt ready to become the person I'd always hoped to be. Moving to Norway meant facing a mountain of paperwork, visas, documents, checklists, and endless forms. It was overwhelming, but organizing everything with military precision was key. Conquering this paperwork mountain was my first real Norwegian challenge, and the relief when I finally got approved was indescribable. With my visa application in, the real challenge began. Finding a home in Oslo's wild rental market. I spent days on Finn.no, sending countless messages, hoping to stand out. Virtual tours, personal letters, and quick decisions became my routine. Finally, I found a cozy apartment, my new anchor in Norway. While sorting visas and apartments, I knew learning Norwegian was key. It's a sign of respect, and the gateway to real connections. My journey began with Duolingo, daily practice, and playful curiosity. Just aiming for a conversational toolkit. Arriving with basic phrases made a world of difference. People were warm, and I felt instantly welcomed. The final piece of the preparation puzzle, and honestly probably one of the most critical, was budgeting. It's no secret that Norway has a reputation for being one of the most expensive countries in the world, and, yeah, this is not an exaggeration. Everything from your daily coffee to your monthly rent and your grocery bill will likely be significantly higher than what you're used to. Understanding this and planning for it financially is absolutely essential to ensure a smooth transition and to avoid unnecessary stress upon arrival. I knew that if I moved without a solid financial cushion, I would be setting myself up for failure. So, my first step was to create a detailed, line-by-line budget. I researched the average cost for everything in Oslo: rent for a one-bedroom apartment, monthly public transportation passes, utility bills, internet, phone plans, and groceries. Websites like Numbeo were incredibly helpful for getting realistic estimates. I mapped out my expected monthly expenses and then added a generous buffer for unexpected costs because, trust me, there will always be unexpected costs. This gave me a clear savings goal. I needed enough to cover my first month's rent and security deposit, which is often 3 months' rent upfront, plus enough to live on for at least 3 months without an income, just in case. With my savings target in place, I went into aggressive savings mode. This meant making some serious sacrifices in the months leading up to my move. I cut back on eating out, canceled subscriptions I didn't need, and put a temporary ban on shopping for non-essentials. Every spare dollar went directly into my Norway fund. It wasn't easy, but keeping my eye on the prize made it manageable. I constantly reminded myself that every coffee I didn't buy was getting me one step closer to my dream of living among the fjords. It was a powerful motivator and a great exercise in financial discipline. This rigorous budgeting process did more than just prepare me financially, it also prepared me mentally for the economic realities of living in Norway. By the time I moved, I was already accustomed to being more mindful of my spending habits. This financial groundwork was invaluable. It meant that when I arrived, I wasn't constantly shocked or stressed by the prices. I had a plan, and I had the resources to execute it. This allowed me to focus on the more exciting aspects of settling in, like exploring my new city and meeting new people, instead of worrying about how I was going to afford my next grocery shop. Arriving at Oslo's Gardermoen airport was surreal, a mix of relief, excitement, and nervousness. My life was packed into 2 suitcases, and everything was about to change. I took the flytoget into the city, watching forests turn to Oslo's cityscape, feeling like a silent observer in my own movie. Stepping into my empty apartment, I realized this was my first piece of Norway. The adventure had just begun. The thrill of arrival quickly faded as I faced Norway's practical hurdles: paperwork, appointments, and endless forms. Registering with the police and getting my residence card was just the start. The national identity number opened doors: banks, phone, even the gym. Finally, my Norwegian bank card felt like a true victory, a symbol that I belonged. Once the essential administrative tasks were underway, a new, more personal challenge emerged: building a social life from zero. I had moved to Norway completely alone, without a single friend or family member in the entire country. The initial excitement of exploring a new city can quickly fade into loneliness if you don't make a conscious and proactive effort to connect with people. I knew that Norwegians have a reputation for being somewhat reserved and private. While they are incredibly polite and helpful, they don't typically strike up conversations with strangers on the street or in a cafe. Making friends would require strategy and effort. My first move was to tap into the expat community. I joined several Facebook groups for foreigners living in Oslo, which were invaluable sources of information and connection. Through these groups, I found out about weekly meetups, language exchange cafes, and social events specifically designed for newcomers. Attending my first expat gathering was nerve-wracking. Walking into a room full of strangers is always intimidating, but I reminded myself that everyone there was in the same boat. We all shared the common experience of being new and looking for connection, which made it easy to start conversations and form initial bonds. While expat friends were a fantastic support system, I was also determined to make Norwegian friends and integrate into the local culture. This meant stepping even further outside my comfort zone. I decided to lean into the Norwegian love for organized activities. I joined a local hiking club or turgruppe, which was a perfect way to combine my love for nature with meeting new people. I also signed up for an intermediate Norwegian language class at a local school. These structured environments provided a natural way to interact with locals who shared my interests, creating a foundation for friendships to grow organically over time. Building a social circle takes time and patience. It doesn't happen overnight. There were many weekends where I felt a pang of loneliness, but I learned to be persistent. I said yes to every invitation, even if I was tired. I initiated plans, inviting people I'd met for a coffee or a walk. Slowly but surely, my calendar started to fill up. Acquaintances turned into friends, and my small apartment began to feel more like a home, filled with the promise of future gatherings. This process taught me the importance of being vulnerable and proactive in creating the community you want to be a part of. Beyond the practical and social adjustments, there was a deeper, more subtle process of adaptation, learning to live in sync with the Norwegian rhythm of life. This was especially true when it came to the environment and the weather. I arrived in late summer, a glorious season of long, sunlit evenings where the sky never seemed to get fully dark. It was magical and energizing, and I spent every possible moment outdoors, soaking it all in. However, I knew the infamous Norwegian winter was looming, and the thought of the long, dark months was a source of genuine anxiety for me. As autumn arrived, and the days grew noticeably shorter, I felt my mood begin to shift. The darkness was a physical presence, a heavy blanket that settled over the city early in the afternoon. This was my first true test of resilience. Instead of hiding from it, I decided to embrace the Norwegian philosophy of koselig, the local version of the Danish hygge. I filled my apartment with candles, warm blankets, and good books. I learned to appreciate the coziness of being indoors, listening to the wind howl outside while sipping a hot cup of tea. It was a conscious effort to find beauty and comfort in the darkness, rather than letting it defeat me. Adjusting my routine was also crucial. I learned that staying active was the best antidote to the winter blues. I forced myself to go for walks during the precious few hours of daylight, even if it was just for 30 minutes during my lunch break. I invested in good winter clothing, following the local mantra of no bad weather, only bad clothes. I even tried cross-country skiing for the first time, discovering the unique joy of gliding through a silent, snow-covered forest. Embracing these winter activities transformed the season from something to be endured into something to be enjoyed, a vital part of the Norwegian experience. This adaptation extended to the work-life balance as well. I had to unlearn my old habits of working late and checking emails at all hours. My Norwegian colleagues left the office promptly at 4 o'clock, and I learned to do the same. This newfound free time in the evenings and on weekends was a gift, allowing me to pursue hobbies, exercise, and truly disconnect. Settling into Norway was about more than just finding an apartment and a job. It was about recalibrating my internal clock to a healthier, more balanced, and nature-attuned rhythm. It was a profound shift that has had a lasting impact on my overall well-being. In Norway, work-life balance isn't a myth, it's a way of life. The workday ends at 4, and people truly switch off, embracing time for family, friends, and nature. This culture of balance and connection to the outdoors has transformed my well-being, making life here feel richer, healthier, and more peaceful. Norway offers an amazing quality of life, but the cost of living is a real shock for newcomers. Everyday essentials, eating out, and even housing are expensive, so budgeting is a must. But these high prices fund excellent public services, making life here safe, clean, and rewarding. Even in English-friendly Oslo, the language barrier is real. True belonging comes from learning Norwegian, a long, sometimes isolating journey. Beyond words, there's the unspoken social code. Norwegians are reserved, friendships grow slowly but are deep and genuine. Every small win, like being invited to a hike, feels huge on the path to feeling at home. Life in Norway means embracing nature's extremes, stunning landscapes, wild weather, and dramatic seasons. Winters are long, dark, and cold, demanding resilience and a cozy indoor culture. Summers explode with light and energy, bringing everyone outdoors to celebrate. This dance with the elements shapes daily life and makes Norway truly unique. Moving to Norway? Preparation is everything. Start your visa process early, save aggressively, and research the cost of living. Be ready to act fast on housing. Use Finn.no and Hybel.no. Learn some basic Norwegian. It's a sign of respect and will make your transition much smoother. Once you have landed and navigated the initial bureaucratic hurdles, your focus will shift to the deeply personal task of building a new life. My key piece of advice here is to be relentlessly proactive. A community will not magically appear at your doorstep. You have to actively go out and create it. Say yes to every single social invitation that comes your way, especially in the beginning. Even if you are tired or feeling shy, push yourself to go to that expat meetup, that language cafe, or that neighborhood gathering. Every person you meet is a potential friend and a new thread in the fabric of your social network. To integrate beyond the expat bubble and meet locals, you must embrace the Norwegian way of socializing through organized activities. This is the secret code to making friends in this culture. Find a club or a group that aligns with your interests. Do you like hiking? Join a turgruppe. Do you enjoy singing? Join a choir. Are you interested in sports? Join a local team. These shared activities provide a natural, low-pressure environment to connect with Norwegians who share your passions. It is through these consistent shared experiences that acquaintances slowly and authentically blossom into genuine friendships. Be patient, but be present. When it comes to work, it is important to adapt to the local culture of balance. Unlearn your old habits of working late and being constantly available. Respect the 4 p.m. finish time and use your newfound free time to explore your new home and your hobbies. This is not slacking, it is the Norwegian way. In your professional interactions, you will find that the culture is often very flat and non-hierarchical. People are direct, and decisions are often made collaboratively. Listen, observe, and adapt your communication style. Showing that you understand and respect these cultural norms will help you build strong relationships with your colleagues. Most importantly, be a student of the culture. Read Norwegian authors, listen to Norwegian music, and watch Norwegian television shows. Pay attention to the small details of daily life, how people queue for the bus, how they interact in shops, and the rhythm of their weekends. This cultural curiosity will not only help you feel more connected, but will also make you a more interesting person to talk to. It shows that you are not just living in Norway, but that you are genuinely invested in understanding it. This effort will be noticed and appreciated, opening doors to deeper conversations and connections. Beyond all the practical tips, the ultimate key to a successful and happy move to Norway lies in your mindset. You must cultivate resilience, patience, and an open mind. There will be difficult days. There will be moments of intense loneliness, frustration, and self-doubt. You will miss your home, your friends, and your family. This is not a sign of failure. It is a normal and universal part of the expatriate experience. Culture shock is real. Acknowledge these feelings, be kind to yourself, and remember that they will pass. You are stronger than you think, and every challenge you overcome is a testament to your courage. Embrace the outdoors, no matter the weather. This is non-negotiable for long-term happiness in Norway. Invest in good quality waterproof and warm clothing, and learn the art of layering. The Norwegian saying, "There is no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing," is the absolute truth. Getting outside for a walk, even for just 20 minutes on a dark and rainy day, can have a massive positive impact on your mental health. Learn to find the beauty in all seasons, from the crisp, sunny winter days to the moody, atmospheric autumn evenings. Your relationship with nature will become one of your greatest sources of joy and stability. Be patient with yourself and with the process. You will not feel completely settled in a month or even in 6 months. Building a life from scratch takes time. Learning a new language, understanding a new culture, and forming deep friendships is a marathon, not a sprint. Celebrate the small victories along the way. The first time you have a successful conversation in Norwegian, the first time a colleague invites you for a coffee, the first time you navigate the public transport system without getting lost. These small milestones are the building blocks of your new home. Give yourself grace and time to grow. Finally, stay open and curious. Your move to Norway is an incredible opportunity for personal growth. It will challenge your assumptions, broaden your perspective, and teach you things about yourself you never knew. Be open to new experiences, new foods, and new ways of thinking. Let go of the way things were back home and embrace the way things are here. This journey is as much about self-discovery as it is about discovering a new country. If you approach it with a spirit of adventure and a heart full of curiosity, your move to Norway will be one of the most rewarding and transformative experiences of your entire life. Looking back, moving to Norway was the most transformative experience of my life. It taught me that home is something you create, built from experiences, connections, and a sense of belonging. From understanding a conversation in Norwegian to sharing laughter with new friends, every moment shaped me, If you're ready for your own adventure, take the leap. The destination is always worth the journey.